Good morning, everybody. Sorry for that. I was having a bit of a technical issue. Welcome to our session this morning, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm really excited to have some small business owners with us to see if we can help you on your accounting journey. So let's get started with this morning's session. And I just want to introduce myself. So my name is Plooy, and I come from an accounting firm called Ray and Associates. And we specialize in QuickBooks Online, and I'm a member of the Intuit Trainer Writer Network. So I've been privileged enough to do these kind of events with Intuit QuickBooks for the last 5 or 6 years. We have an accounting firm that focuses on conversions from any accounting software. We do setups, fixes, we do training, as well as our monthly accounting. And I'm very passionate about mentoring small business owners, so very excited to be here with you this morning. So just to run through what our morning is going to look like, what our session is going to look like, I'm going to just run through some welcome and housekeeping. We're going to then look at accounting basics, some QuickBooks features, how to get your data into QuickBooks and how to get started. Then I'm going to pop into the product and show you some amazing features. We're going to run through the sales center, expenses center. I'm going to show you that and how easy it is in QuickBooks. We're going to chat a bit about the app marketplace and what that means, how you can get help, what your next steps are going to look like. And then we're going to have a Q&A right at the end. So just for some housekeeping, we are with you this morning for an hour. I have a fantastic team in the background that's going to be able to answer any questions that you've got. So please pop them in the Q&A box. I have Henny, who's my partner at Ray & Associates, and we have Jono from the EasyBiz team that's also here. So they're going to be engaging with you if there's anything that you need to know. Any really great questions that come up, Henny and I will jump on at the end and we'll have a bit of a conversation about those. So please make sure you stick around with us right to the end so that we can engage with you on that. And then we're also going to be posting some really useful links in the chat block. So I'll be mentioning them during the presentation this morning. So you can just copy those links and save them. They're going to be really useful. Okay, let's jump in. So it was really interesting when we did the registration for the session this morning. We asked, what is it that business owners are looking for? And it was amazing that what came back was that you're really looking for information on what accounting means. What does it mean for business owners? What kind of responsibilities do you have? And I was really excited that I'm going to be able to share some great insight with you. And then also, obviously, to show you products. But what this meant and what this means to us and what that showed us about why important these sessions are, is that it's something that's still making business owners really feel out of their depth when it comes to running a business, so accounting, and it really shouldn't be like that. So I'm hoping after today, you're going to feel a bit calmer about what it means in your business, why this is the most important, for me, the most important section in your company that you should be focusing on, where you can get help, how the system is going to be able to help you. But I also want you to just feel confident as a business owner that accounting really doesn't have to be scary. So I understand that this can be daunting, especially when you don't understand a lot of the lingo that's being used in accounting. So the first link that we're going to share with you is a little accounting cheat sheet. So it's going to explain what some of the words is, some of the jargon that we use in the accounting industry. So please download that, because I promise you it's going to help when you're having conversations with your accountant or with investors or with the bank. So I want you to have a better understanding about what we're talking about. So just to cover some of the accounting basics. So what is accounting? So accounting for me is a system or software that covers 3 really important aspects of your business. Number 1, it's going to track and analyze your business transactions in total. Number 2, it's going to measure and improve the health of your business. So that's also going to help you make decisions. Is the business doing well? And then the third and final step is that it's going to give you financial results, reports, actually physical things to show you how your business is doing, and then to have those conversations with investors, banks, regulators like SARS. And I know that SARS can also be a really scary word to say to business owners, but if you're running the right system and you're keeping your books up to date, there's really nothing to worry about. So just some things that your accounting system produces. And when we talk about financial statements, so I want to pause here and just say, one of the biggest challenges we see business owners facing in their business day to day is that they don't have an understanding of what the accounting system can give them, how to read reports, and then you get the reports and how to understand what they actually mean for you as a business owner. We spend a lot of time in our practice mentoring our clients on how to read these reports. Because for us, it doesn't make sense that you just, send a monthly management pack at the end of each period and, the business, to just presume that the business owners can read and understand them. So it is really important to make sure you understand the type of information that these reports give you. So your accounting system can give you financial statements, and these look at things like your financial positions, your assets and liabilities, and that you find in your balance sheet report. Your profit and loss, that looks at your daily transactions, so transactions in a period, income less expenses, and it's going to show you profitability, and that's called your income statement report. And it can also then show you cash inflows and outflows, and it can help you do your cash flow forecast, so it can help you look future. So this empowers you to be able to make business decisions. And then it allows you to follow your accounting cycle. So all of this you're going to get from your accounting system, QuickBooks. So as long as you are following your accounting cycle and making sure that things are processed properly, you're going to be empowered as a business owner to have this kind of information at your fingertips. These 4 things for me are imperative for business owners to be able to make decisions. And it's making decisions on planning where your business is going. You're looking to hire new staff. You're looking to move premises. You're looking to bring in a new product or take on a new project. All those kind of things, those kind of decisions are based on accounting information. So you need to make sure that your system is working for you so that you have that information at your fingertips. So we wanted to be able to explain what an accounting cycle looks like in a business. What are the steps that you need to make sure that your accounting system is up to date and correct? And the first step is your source document. So where does it all start? It can start from your supplier invoice, the purchase order that you send your supplier, then your supplier invoices you. It can start on the quote that you send to your customer, which you then going to turn into an invoice. So that's going to be step 1 in the cycle of how all the information eventually leads to your financial statements. So step 2 is the financial impact that your transaction has. So when you process an invoice to your customer, how does that impact your accounting records? So it would impact your sales accounts and then your customer accounts and your accounts receivable, because they're going to owe you that money. So it's just important to understand how each step leads into the next step. The third step you have is your journal entry. Every time you process a transaction in your accounting system, there is a journal that's done in the background to post to all the relevant general ledger accounts. Now, general ledger accounts are your chart of accounts, and I'm going to cover that in detail in the next couple of slides. So just listen out for that, and you'll understand once that's done why this is so important. Because your next step is your general ledger. So the journal entry is posting to all the relevant accounts in your general ledger. From there, the system then pulls a trial balance, and that accumulates all the transactions that you processed through those 4 steps into a report that you can now see how your business is doing. The last step is your financial statements, and your financial statements include those 4 to 5 reports that I spoke to you about. Your balance sheet, which shows your assets and liabilities, so your bank accounts, what fixed assets you've purchased, do you owe loans to anybody, how much your customers owe you, so that's going to be all on your balance sheet. And then your income statement, which shows you your sales for the month, cost of sales, and your monthly running expenses, and then whether your month was profitable. You have your trial balance, and then you have your statement of cash flow. So that's for me is also showing how healthy your business is and what the next couple of months are going to look like for you. That is their accounting cycle briefly, but that's basically what would happen in your accounting department. I wanted to take a minute and speak to you about responsibilities as a business owner. Now, I run this business, so I may be an accountant, but I'm also a business owner. And it's really important to understand how we are responsible to not only ourselves, our staff, to SARS. There's a few things that you need to make sure you are compliant with. Number one, if you employ any staff, even if it's just one extra person, the first three things are imperative for you to do as a business owner. You have to have a computerized and electronic payroll system, because you have to be able to give your employee a pay slip. If your employee is earning above the threshold for PAYE, you have to make sure that you're registered with SARS for PAYE. Regardless of that, you have to be registered for UIF with the Department of Labor. So please make sure that you are compliant with that immediately. We see a lot of businesses that are trying to run their payroll on Excel. It always means that you're going to be slightly out with your tax. There's regulations from SARS that says you have to be able to provide your employees with a computerized pay slip at the end of each month. So please make sure that you are setting that up. You can speak to an accountant. There's lots of cloud payroll systems available. So just please make sure that that's number one step. Then with payroll, there's certain steps that you have to take to be compliant with SARS. So you do monthly EMP 201 returns, which is your PAYE, UIF, and SDL if you registered. So that's just confirming with SARS what you deducted from your staff salaries and you're paying over to them. Then twice a year, you have to do a reconciliation on those EMP 201s, and that's called an EMP 501. So every 6 months, you're just doing a mini recon and you're uploading it to SARS to make sure that you're staying compliant. And then once a year, you have to give your staff an IRP5 certificate. That's for them to be able to do their personal tax, so they can make sure that they're also compliant, and it's just confirmation of all their earnings and what they've paid over to SARS. Then the third one, and a lot of small businesses miss this, is it's called QBO, your return of earnings. It used to be called workman's compensation. Every single company in South Africa, if you're employing more than one person outside of a director, you have to be registered with the Department of Labor for workman's comp. So how workman's comp work is that depending on what industry you're in is dependent on what level you have to then pay annually. They work on a percentage of your overall payroll budget for the year, and you would pay a percentage of that. So obviously people that are running a factory and they have workers around machinery, they're going to pay a higher percentage than somebody who's running, for example, a digital marketing company and they're all working from home. So it is industry specific with regards to how much percentage of your salary bill you're going to be paying over, but this has to be done annually. If you want to be doing business with corporations, you'll see that a lot of the time when you have to present your business documents to them, they will ask you for a letter of good standing. This is related to that. So they want to know that you're in good standing with the Department of Labor and all your return of earnings is up to date with them. Then as a business, you have to be registered with SARS for income tax. And this means that there are 3 income tax returns that you have to submit annually. You have 2 provisional returns, which is about planning for your financial year. So you do 6 months into your financial year and you are estimating the profit that you're going to make for the year, and you're paying 50% tax. So small business tax has different percentages. It works on a sliding scale. I would definitely speak to an accounting professional about that and what the requirements are. Generally, for companies that are not that do not fall into the small business tax bracket, pay 28% tax on their profit. So provisional tax is really important to make sure that you've planned. How do you plan? You have budgets in place for your financial year. You have forecasts in place for your financial year. And even if that might feel really daunting as a business owner, to make sure that you're planning properly, you're going to speak to your accountant and you're going to partner with somebody that can help you do this planning. So you do your 2 provisional tax returns a year. And then once your financial statements are done, you're going to submit your final income tax return. And that's just confirming all the figures that you've done in your provisional and if there's any top up that needs to be paid. The dreaded VAT conversation. So for any business that is reaching R1 million worth of sales during their financial year, has to by law register for VAT with SARS. Make sure that you're keeping an eye on your sales, because if you're getting close, you want to register in advance, because sometimes it can take a couple of weeks for the registration to happen. So just, you don't want to be registered too late, because SARS can sometimes penalize you. So make sure that you're staying on top of that. There is a voluntary registration. So for some businesses, it's imperative that they're registered for VAT right from the beginning. So you can voluntarily register for VAT. All you would need to have is some invoices being paid into your bank account, reaching a value of 50,000 Rand, and then you can register for voluntary VAT registration. And VAT returns need to be submitted generally every 2 months. So 90% of companies are bi-monthly. Some of them are monthly, but most of them will be every 2 months. So you close off a 2-month period and you have 25 to 30 days to submit your return and make your payment for those 2 previous months. It is your responsibility as a business owner to keep accurate records, and implementing a system like QuickBooks Online makes that so much easier. You know that your things are up to date, your reports are up to date, so it's very easy to, at a click of a button, have accurate records that balance. You also have to be able to produce financial statements at the end of each financial year. You're going to need that for SIPC, you're going to need that for banks, any investors, any business decisions that you're going to be needing to make. You're going to have to look at your financial statements. That's imperative to have. And then lastly, you have to do a SIPC annual submission annually so that your business is registered. Because if you miss that, then they start the deregistration process. I want to include a link in the chat. I recently just did an article for QuickBooks on Ask an Accountant. So really some great Q&A. So I just want my team just to post this in the chat. It's a 2 or 3 minute read. So just take a minute after this and just take a look at that. One of the topics that I covered is what is the biggest challenges business owners face. And I just want to run through a few of them because it's all tied into this. So how to manage your cash flow. So we've seen how clients really battle with us. They're not planning for the future. So it is, as a business owner, it's your responsibility to make sure, how are you going to pay bills at the end of the month? How much more sales do you need to bring in order to cover your expenses? We find that businesses are also battling on how to market their business because they don't know how much budget to spend. So that also comes from your accounting. If you're keeping accurate records, you can know what kind of percentage on your gross profit you're spending on your marketing. So it's all related. Everything gets tied back to your accounting. And then time management. So as a small business owner, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that's just starting out, you land up wearing many hats. Even if you've been running your business for 5 years, we've been running our business for 18 years. And sometimes I also feel like I wear multiple hats. But it is really important to make sure that you've got a team around you that's helping you manage these responsibilities as well. And somebody that's part of the team is your accountant or an accounting professional that's partnering with you. And we're going to go into more details on that a little bit later because I want to actually break down what the benefits are of that for you. So who remembered that I said how important the chart of accounts is? So this is the heart of your accounting system, because once these accounts are set up correctly, it literally runs the information into the rest of your system, all your financial reports. And this is where you're going to get your information from. So it's really important to understand the different types of accounts, to keep the chart of accounts neat and tidy as possible. When Henny and I take on new clients, and he'll attest to this because he does a lot of this for us, we take clients from other accounting systems and we bring them into QuickBooks Online. And one of the things we look at is their chart of accounts. And we can get a client that sends us a chart of accounts that's 5 pages long, and I can have a heart attack, because how do you analyze information when you are dealing with over 150 to 200 accounts? It's just not possible. So my best advice to my clients is always to keep it neat, as small and as tidy as possible, because it also then doesn't create confusion for anybody that's processing in your books. So you want to keep it as basic as possible. So I'm going to just explain the type of accounts that you've got in your chart of accounts. You're looking at your income. So this is any type of anything that generates business for your company. So any invoices that you're sending out. You have your cost of sales, which is any costs related to those sales. You have your expenses, which are any running expenses for your business, telephone, rent, salaries, all that kind of stuff. And then you have your balance sheet accounts, which are your liabilities. So this is anybody that you owe money to, suppliers, if there's a bank loan, overdraft. Then you have your assets, so your general fixed assets, any inventory that you have, or any customers that owe you money. So those are going to be your main accounts. And then you also have your bank accounts. So just to recap, please keep your chart of accounts clean and small. And as I said, you're gonna have fewer errors because there's less complications on where to post things. It reduces overall bulkiness in accounts, reduces confusion. You have to ensure that the account name makes sense. So, rule of thumb, I always say to my clients, when you're starting off your chart of accounts and you're setting it up, it's not about who you are paying. It's what you are paying. So you don't want to see a name like Vodacom, for example, in your chart of accounts. The account that you're going to use is cell phone expense. So just be mindful of that and just think about how you can reduce your chart of accounts so that it makes everybody's life easier when you're reading reports and for people that are processing. You also want to make sure that you're doing accounts that are relevant to your business. So if you have different revenue streams and you want to be able to track the income and the cost of sales on those different revenue streams. So just make sure that you're setting up accounts that make sense to you. So I'm going to ask you guys to answer one question for me. It is an easy one. Henny's going to tell me if you guys get it right. Who is the person that you should be speaking to help you set up your chart of accounts? And go. Who is the person that can give you the best advice for your industry on how to set up your chart of accounts?
How many answers do you want?
Just as long as somebody's getting it right. Are they coming in?
Sorry, just want to make sure, guys, please don't put the questions that Lauren asks in the questions, rather put it in the chat for me.
Oh, sorry, guys. So questions we can do in the Q&A, but any answers that I want, just please pop it in the chat so Henny can see that quickly. Who should you be turning to?
Some people have said myself. Other people have said accountant, getting lots of those.
Great. So I think
a couple of people are saying QuickBooks.
Okay. So I think, great. Let's touch on that. QuickBooks will give you a generic chart of accounts, which I love. You pick an industry when you're setting up QuickBooks. So let's say you're doing a construction industry, and QuickBooks will give you a standard chart of accounts. But I want you to spend time adapting that to your business. If you're a business owner that has accounting knowledge and you can do this chart of accounts, by all means, please go ahead. The number one answer I wanted to see was your accountant. Because I said to clients, we are your partner. We want to do business decisions with you. We want to make your life easier. So please lean on us. This is what we are here for. And this is what my next slide is about. Nobody is as good at what you are supposed to be doing as you. So I want you to spend time working on your business, coming up with ideas, bringing in sales, managing your team. And I want you to partner with your accountant, an accounting professional, your bookkeeper, to let them handle this, take off the stress, let them handle this kind of thing for you, because it is so beneficial. They will be able to do things that you don't even think you need as a business owner. They're going to be able to do for you. So that brings me to the next step. Did you know, statistically, that 65% of business owners that are partnered with an accounting professional, 65% more are going to be successful in their first 2 years of business than businesses that are not linked to an accounting professional. So there is benefit in it, and QuickBooks recognizes that. So what they've done is they've set up this advisory directory. Only accounting professionals that are accountants, so they're registered with the governing body in South Africa, and they are QuickBooks certified, can have a listing in this directory. And what I love is that you can start looking for people that are in your area. Doesn't have to be area specific. We literally help clients all over the world. So, it doesn't have to only be that they're in Joburg, because everything's in the cloud right now. They can be anywhere. But you can start looking for specific services as well as industry. When I work with other accounting professionals, I always say to them, think of a niche market, something that you enjoy working in. So I love working in the digital marketing field with my clients. So I know things about that industry because I've been working in it for 15 years. So I can give clients advice on what works, what doesn't work, what reports are relevant, how to market, how much budget to spend. So industry specific accounting professionals can be very, very valuable to your business. So you want to make sure that you are looking for people that are going to be relevant to your needs. So why partner with an accountant? Who can give me 2 reasons in the chat box why you can partner with an accountant? And I think just maybe we have some giveaways. So I'll check with my team. I think we can come up with 1 or 2 things that we can send off to you guys. But give me some ideas of why you want to partner with an accountant. And I'm going to give you my top three while we're waiting. So number 1 is compliance. You want to make sure that you are compliant as a business owner. It was the biggest thing that we saw when lockdown happened with COVID, is our clients wanted to start claiming from TERS. They wanted to start getting bank loans, but they couldn't do it because their books were not up to date. They couldn't do it because they couldn't get a tax clearance certificate, or their payroll reports weren't sent to SARS. It is the number 1 important thing in a business, is to make sure that you're compliant. You don't want to be having sleepless nights because your VAT hasn't been paid or your PAYE return hasn't been submitted. And an accounting professional will help you with that. Another thing that business owners sometimes don't realize is that as accountants, we can also be business coaches. And it's something that I spend a lot of time working on with my clients, is coaching them on the right way to run, their business, to implement change, to hire staff, to, bring in a new range of things that they want to be selling. So it's a really good partnership that you want to be having. And then also they're there to help you make business decisions. So we spend a lot of time planning with our clients at the beginning of the financial year. We do budgets, we do forecasts, we help them with cash flow forecasts on a monthly basis. So being able to make decisions based on true figures is what's really important. Henny, did anybody come up with anything besides what I said?
Geez, I'm struggling to keep up with both sides. I've got hundreds of questions and I'm trying to read. I mean, there's tons. I don't know. I think when you're asking questions, maybe if Jono or...
Okay, we can handle it.
Look, there's a lot. There's to help my business grow, so SARS doesn't get you. It's their profession. They have a better understanding of financial books. Grow your business to be SARS compliant.
That's perfect. Thank you, Henny.
Good.
Okay, so as an accounting professional, one of the questions that I got asked in this article is, what are the top 3 common mistakes that I see clients making? So I wanted to just run through those with you, because I think that this is relevant for where we are in this discussion, because this is something that an accounting professional would pick up for you and be able to help you. So we see a lot of clients when they're processing in the bank, they make a lot of mistakes in QuickBooks, and I'll show you when we get to the banking screen. But they don't understand the implication of when they're processing, what that actually looks like in the financial reports. So sometimes when a customer payment is coming in, instead of matching it to an invoice, they process it straight to sales. So an accountant would pick that up immediately for you, because they'd see that the sales are overstated because they've been duplicated now and the customer owes you money. So that was the one big thing that we see. Another thing, daily we're dealing with this, is that sometimes clients don't understand what you can claim that for when you are processing your expenses and your supply bills. So I'll give you a little cheat here. I always tell my clients that SARS says to you, whatever is imperative to your business running, if there is VAT on that invoice or that slip, you may claim the VAT on it. So for example, consumables, which is a big one, we all know you cannot claim VAT on groceries because it's not imperative to your business running. But something like a telephone account with Telkom or Vodacom is imperative. So you will always be able to claim the VAT on that. So that is a huge thing that we see our clients battling with. And it's the thing that we argue with them the most. You cannot claim VAT on entertainment. So that is a huge thing. So always lean on your accountant with regards to that. There's lots of literature online also. And it doesn't have to be SARS literature, because that's sometimes can be very difficult for a business owner. Even as an accountant, sometimes I think they're speaking a foreign language, but there are some great articles online on what's VATable and what isn't. But that's just a very brief explanation. And then the last thing that we always see clients doing in error is they do not reconcile their bank accounts in QuickBooks Online. And for me, once everything is processed, you've done your supply invoices, you've done your banking and your banking screen, so you reviewed your transactions, then before you pull your reports, your final step has to be your reconciliation. So you can make sure that everything that you've processed during the month is there, it's finalized and it makes sense and there's no rogue transactions. So please make sure that you are taking note of those three things, because that's the issues that we always see coming up. Okay, so while we're all here today, and it's to talk about QuickBooks Online, the first thing I wanted to chat about is, are you a good fit for QuickBooks Online? What is the reason that you're looking to make this move? Are you coming from a legacy desktop software, so cloud is new to you? But these are the kind of questions that I want you to be asking yourself. Do you want more mobility and flexibility? What do I mean? I mean that with QuickBooks Online, you can work from anywhere, from any device. The mobile app is amazing. It's a full working app of QuickBooks Online, of the web page one, and you can literally access things from anywhere. You can do quotes, you can have your quotes signed on the screen, you can upload receipts. As a business owner, you can pull reports from anywhere, you can see who owes you money, anything that you want to do from that mobile app you can. And also you could be on your laptop on the beach in Mauritius and be able to work on your business. So the flexibility and mobility is a huge thing for us. Also with COVID, we know we don't want to be office-based. So we want to be able to be flexible to work from anywhere. And this is what that's giving you. Are you comfortable working online? I think sometimes we forget how much we do online banking, emails. There's a lot that's online. So just, are you comfortable? That's a question to ask. Do you have more than one location? So QuickBooks can start looking at reporting for you in your different locations. Are they profitable? So location tracking is really great. Are you looking for automation to save data entry? I say to my clients, do you want to save 60% of your processing time? Because I certainly do. And that's what QuickBooks Online gave us. Because so much is automated with bank rules, with invoice reminders that are automatically sent out to clients. The features are endless. And that's what moving on to QuickBooks Online is going to give you, all this amazing automation. Are you a project-based business that you want to keep track of your project profitability? This is a new feature that was launched 3 years ago, and it was a game changer for our project-based clients, because sometimes you forget all the nitty little things that you're spending on a project. Sometimes you forget how much your time you're using on a project. So the project tracking in QuickBooks gives you the ability to do soft and hard costs. So what do I mean by that? Hard costs is when you actually have an invoice from a supplier, from builders, petrol, whatever it is. Soft costs is your time, is, you know, things that you don't want the client to see, but you want to keep track of to know if that project is profitable. So if you've answered yes to any of those questions, you are 100% in the right place. And we're excited to have you on board with QuickBooks Online. So I love this slide because I spend a lot of time doing sales in my business. So these are the kind of questions that I get asked a lot. And as a business owner, it's so relevant to you. So these are the top 5 questions I get asked every single day. How do I get my data into QuickBooks Online? So how do I migrate from either you're using Excel or another accounting system, there are two options. There is a free migration available. The chat, I'm going to ask them to post in the chat to speak to a sales expert, so they'll be able to point you in that direction. And I think that there's such a perception about how difficult this all is. So let's break it down. So you can be migrated from any of the current competitor software free of charge. And then there's also the option to start a new file and bring over master file information. So what do I mean by that? I mean that it's going to give you the opportunity to close off on the current system that you're working on and start the new system off fresh. That's going to give you the opportunity to clean up your customer list, clean up your inventory list, clean up any old transactions you don't want to keep seeing, and start fresh. This is not difficult to do. Any of your accountants can help you, or there's professionals that do this, migration specialists that do this. So it's a service that we offer. Speak to your accountant, speak to one of the sales guys at EasyBizTech. The link is going to be posted in the chat. Reach out. It's not as difficult as you think. And sometimes it can be a really great idea to start fresh so that you've got a clear mind about how the processes are going to be run, because maybe something that you were doing before wasn't working, or you can migrate your data. So you have both options. Training. So this is really important because we see a lot with clients that are moving to cloud that the staff in the accounts department or a bookkeeper that's been doing things the same way for the last 10 years is very hesitant to change. And they're hesitant because they don't feel empowered. They've been using the same system for the last 10 years. And now all of a sudden we want them to use a new system and we're like, oh, you'll figure it out. No. We have a responsibility to make sure that whoever's working in the accounting department knows what they're doing with the new system. So how do you make sure about that? If you have an accountant that uses QuickBooks Online, please speak to them about training your staff. If you don't, you're going to find an advisor. But in the meantime, there are training centers all over South Africa that offer this. They're going to post another link for you in the chat box. We offer, for example, we do the ones in Gauteng. It's a virtual training. It's a 2-day course. We cover the whole program. We make sure that your staff are going to be able to hit the ground running the day after the course and be able to work on it. So those are local training centers. Some of them, I think, are doing face-to-face. We're still running virtual ones. And there are lots of videos online, tutorials about how to do everything in QuickBooks. So you can 100% take a look online. We have a lot of videos that we share with the accounts department when we're trying to, help them make the decision to move to online. We share a lot of videos of how things work. So there's lots of online tutorials. Then support. Of course, you want to know how you are going to be supported. Well, it's great because you can get the help straight in your QuickBooks product. So there's a chat, there's a telephone, there's an email support. So from within your product, you can do that. There's also an amazing, if you've signed up for QuickBooks Online, you haven't started working with it yet, there is a one-on-one 30-minute session that you have access to with a QuickBooks professional. So they're also going to post a link to that. So there's tons of support. And we love the chat. It's literally, you will get your answer. You can pick up the phone and call them. So I love that there's always going to be somebody available for you when you need it. And the team is incredible. Then when do you want to make the move? When is a good time? So I always actually say now, because what are we waiting for? Most companies have their financial year end at the end of February. This is a really good time to be making the move over. But also, if you're migrating, they're migrating history, so you can move over anytime. If you're starting a new file, you can move over in the middle of the year. You bring in opening, closing balances from your prior financial system, and then you're starting with opening balances on your new system. So for me, there's no reason to wait. You're looking at moving to QuickBooks Online for a reason. Don't hesitate. Just make the decision. And then the big question, data security. Will my data be safe? So with QuickBooks Online, you have your password protected login. There's the multi-factor authentication, firewall protected service, state-of-the-art encryption technology. They automatically back up your data file for you, so you don't have to worry about backups anymore. With cloud, there's no worrying about a server. There's no laying out for your server room and IT, and they're laying cables and who's going to be doing backups, and there's nothing like that. Everything is in the cloud, and everything's taken care of by QuickBooks. So even with the banking, you'll see how safe the banking is. There's banking level security, and in South Africa, we have very high bank level security in the country, so there's nothing to worry about. Also, there's the audit trail in QuickBooks, which cannot be turned off. An audit trail will keep track of every single transaction that's been processed by who, if it's been edited or anything that's been done to it. So the audit trail is fantastic. Great. So let's talk about the different subscription levels, and then I'm going to jump into QuickBooks and show you a bit in the software. So there's 3 levels. So depending on what type of business you have will be dependent on what you are going to be, which subscription level you're going to pick. So Simple Start is for really small businesses that don't want to track accounts payable. So it's really just about tracking your accounts receivable, which is your sales and your customers. You can track income and expenses also just through your bank, but there are no supply invoices to be loaded. So you would track your expenses through the bank. There are bank accounts that you can sync, and it's for one user and your accountant. So Simple Start's for a really small business. Then you have your essentials. You get all the Simple Start features as well as supplier, so your accounts payable. You can also then do multi-currency on essentials, which you couldn't do on Simple Start. There's time tracking, which is a really nice tool if you're doing projects. And then you can have 3 users plus your accountant. In QuickBooks Online Plus, for us, 90% of our clients take this, and it's really around the reporting. So I'll explain once we get there. You can do budgets. Budgets are imperative for any business to have for their financial year. I think it is the #1 tool that your accountant can give you for planning for your new financial year. We love the budgets in QuickBooks. You can track inventory. So that means you can start doing purchase orders, and then projects in your Plus, and your location and class tracking. What does that mean? It is a reporting tool that is so powerful. So class tracking we use as cost centers in your business. If you want to know different divisions in your company, how well they're doing, you basically get an income statement, which is a profit and loss per class or per location. So it's a really powerful reporting tool that's in the Plus version, and then you can have 25 users plus your accounting firm. Great. So I want to just hop into the QuickBooks Online quickly and just get us to run through some of the product information. I'm going to show you some really cool features. I'm going to turn off my camera just so that you can have the whole screen and just see how wonderful it is. And give me a second just to share my screen where we're at. And there we go. Right. This is what your QuickBooks Online looks like. So I'm in my training file. So we've got lots of transactions, which is good because I want to actually be able to show you some stuff. So the dashboard gives you a really good snapshot as to what's happening in your company at the moment. It shows you your bank accounts, if there's any items to be reviewed. It's showing you a brief cash flow, what's going on, your profit and loss for the month. You can change it to filter what kind of dates you're looking at. And then I want to cover 3 or 4 major sections in the system. I want to show you your sales center. I want to show you what kind of information you're gathering from the center. But just before we go there, I want to show you the shortcuts. So sometimes when you start a new system and you're like, oh, where do I find this? How do I do this? The shortcuts gives you a quick link to the majority of the things that you want to do in your accounting system. So it gives you under customers, all the items that you can do, under suppliers, your timesheet activities, and then other, so it's all your banking things. So that is going to be your shortcuts. That's going to be your best friend. Then I'm going to hop over onto the sales. I want to just show you what each of these headings do because they are all important. what's nice under the all sales is you're starting to look at these headings that are just grouping things together for you. You're starting to see you have 4.5 million Rand outstanding. What is that related to? If you click on it, it's going to show you those transactions at the bottom of the screen. What I love about any of these screens is that you can filter by the headings. So if you want to see that this customer could owe you more than one invoice, you're going to click on a customer, you can click on a balance, you can click on an invoice number, and you can filter the screen. What's also really great is that you can start seeing a history, status. What does this mean? What is QuickBooks trying to tell me here? What I love is because it's online, so you're emailing your client, once you've done an invoice, you email it to your clients, it starts keeping a record of when this invoice was sent, if it's been opened. There's no more of your clients telling you that they haven't received their invoice, so you can start seeing immediately. You can then you can actually start looking at the source document if you're wanting to see what information is on this. You can drill down. It's called the drill down function. You can do that with any transaction in QuickBooks. Let's talk about invoices for a minute, because there's three great things that I want to talk to you about. Number one, you can set recurring invoices. So for a company that does any subscription base, for example, we do monthly retainers for our clients, or we charge our clients the QuickBooks subscription. We can set up invoices to automatically run. We tell them how far in advance, when it starts, for how long, and to automatically send the emails. So this is setting up recurring invoices. So once again, automation on how it saves you time as a business owner. The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about is how to send invoices. Who here knows one of the coolest ways to send an invoice from QuickBooks? Anybody, put in the chat box. Do any of you know one of the coolest ways? I think it's cool. Our clients love it. Tell me a fun way that you can send an invoice from QuickBooks. Does anyone know any?
Yes, quite a few.
Okay. What is it? It is WhatsApp. What does this mean? This means that you can put the invoice in the hands of the person that's paying the actual invoice. So you just have to have your WhatsApp web page open, and you can WhatsApp your invoice straight from QuickBooks. Our clients love this feature. So it has cut down the delay in payment from clients by huge amounts. And the third thing that I wanted to speak to you about is invoice reminders. You can set up your invoice reminders to automatically remind your clients when to pay these invoices. You can set up a reminder under your accountant settings, under sales. You set up the reminders about when they go out. You can say, so under reminders, you can say 5 days before. You can say send another one 2 days after. You can set up these reminders for whatever works for your company and trust that they're just going to go out. You have no idea how much time this has saved our clients with regards to chasing debtors payments. We hate chasing money. So please use your invoice reminders. It's also really easy to customize what your invoice looks like. So under your cogs wheel, under company, you have your custom form styles. And I love that there's pre-loaded templates that you can pick out of these, which one is going to work for your company. It's really easy to edit these. You pick, my favorite one is this one. If you click on content, you can then click on the relevant fields, the relevant sections of the invoice, and what information you want to put in. So customizing your invoice is really easy. So please don't, go ahead and play around with that and make sure that you're comfortable. So I want to talk about expenses, but the thing with expenses is related to the most is banking. And this is what I am the most excited about when it comes to QuickBooks Online, the automatic link with your bank. For me, there is no point in running QuickBooks Online if you're not going to do this. So do this. It is so beneficial to your business. There is so much security around it. There is nothing to worry about. All QuickBooks does is extract information. It cannot send information the other way. It does not store your login details or passwords. So please trust us, link it. Every day, it automatically downloads your transactions from the day before, and you can process from the screen. It will pick up if there's any transactions. So for example, if there's an invoice, sorry, we actually don't have any on this file. If there is an invoice that is matched, so if it's picking up that there would be an invoice here, it would match it automatically for you. You can bulk.
Sorry, go to categorize and just some that are matched, unmatch them. Particularly like, just go there, I'll guide you. Categorized, yeah. Slow down. Atlassian, up.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let's show you what this looks like, because I think it's really so beneficial. So for any supply invoices, didn't like me there. For any supply invoices, there we go. So it's picked up Atlassian, it's found a bill that it's matched to, and all I have to say is match. So remember when we looked at the accounting cycle, the first step is to do your source documents, because once those are done, then you know that your banking is going to be easier to do, and you can say match. You can batch process from your banks, you can filter things, you know, more than one transaction together. So the banking is a huge time saver. And what I also love is how intelligent QuickBooks is, because it remembers where you've posted things previously. So then you can just go add, and to set up bank rules is the biggest lifesaver. So when you are getting trained on QuickBooks, make sure that they show you how to do bank rules, so that you can just make sure you spend your first month setting it up, so that your processing through the rest of the system is going to be a lot easier. Your expenses center works the same as your sales center. Oh, and I didn't even show you the best part. I apologize. Under your sales center, you have your customers. So you see your list of your customers. But then if you click on a customer name, it drills in and it shows you the transactions linked to those customers. You can filter by type if you're only wanting to see an invoice. But what's really nice is that you can also click and look at the actual transaction, so that you can see what this is about. You can then also look at when it's been paid, if it's been paid, so you can get a lot of information from this. This is called the drill down. Expenses are going to look the same way. So you have your suppliers. You also have these bars at the top that can help with any shortcuts to what bills are outstanding. If you want to look at it, you click that the supplier owes you money, and it's just, there we go, there's the bill, and you can click on it and you can see the bill. One of the things that I just want to mention while we're here is to be able to load attachments onto your supplier invoices, because there was a new feature that QuickBooks released recently called receipt capture. You will be able to do this from your mobile app as well as from the online page. You can upload supplier invoices straight to QuickBooks. So this is an invoice that was loaded from the mobile app. Look what happens. It keeps a PDF document of the actual invoice on the transaction in QuickBooks. So if you have an accountant processing things for you, you can upload slips while you're on the run, petrol slips, you know, Woolies, whatever it is, when you're out at restaurants, you can upload and they can process using the actual PDF document, and it saves it on QuickBooks. We love this feature. It is a huge game changer for us. The third thing that I wanted to just talk to you about is the VAT. So the VAT is pre-set up in QuickBooks. It is out of the box. Here we go. Your VAT works perfectly. It runs the reports exactly how SARS wants them. So it breaks it down per section, tells you what block to fill in, what information. You can mark it as files, and it keeps track of all the VAT returns that have been submitted to SARS. It keeps track of all of it. It tells you if it's been paid, and it keeps a copy of all your reports. So your VAT is so nice and easy in QuickBooks. And let me also tell you about an amazing feature that the VAT does. Let's say you finished off your period and it's till the end of February, and you've submitted your VAT to SARS, and then all of a sudden you pick up a supplier invoice that wasn't loaded and it has that. What QuickBooks does is, because it's locked these transactions that it knows you've submitted for that period, if you backdate a transaction, it knows that you have not claimed the VAT on that transaction, and it brings it forward as an opening balance in your next VAT period. What this allows is that your financial reports are correct because you're posting the expense in the right period, and then you will be able to claim the VAT in the next period. It is a very powerful feature. Make sure you're doing your VAT correctly and you're filing the return in QuickBooks as soon as you filed it with SARS. I'm very aware of our time. Please hang out with me. We are nearly done, but you're going to love the next couple of things that I want to show you. Under your customer leads, there's something here that also says marketing. This is related to MailChimp. Any of you that are doing your own marketing, you want to take a look at how QuickBooks and MailChimp work. There's a direct integration into your QuickBooks. Purchase MailChimp in the last financial year. It is a very powerful marketing tool because it integrates with your customer list. It can see your top spenders. It can then see who's clicking on your ads. You can target market people that are buying, you know, certain stock items from you. So that's what that marketing thing is. It's a new tab. So if anybody's wondering, that's what it is. And then we also have apps. So let's talk about apps. So for me, QuickBooks is your hero software. So this is where majority of your stuff is done. But if you're a company that has like advanced inventory and you do manufacturing, you can always add on apps that are going to be like steroids to your QuickBooks. So on your app tab, you can start seeing the different apps that have been tested and approved by QuickBooks Online, but there are hundreds that are available. You can filter this by category. You can filter this by free apps, as you can see. You can click in and get as much information as you want. So this is just about building an ecosystem that works really well for your company. Also, speak to your accountant. They will have experience with apps. We know what inventory app we want to use, and we'll be able to advise you on that. Okay, so that's it for me for in product. I'm going to just hop back on and just share with you give me 1 second to get back to where I am. I'm going to just hop on and share with you last little things that we've got to do. And then it's going to be questions, which is my favorite part. So I hope that you have, well, I believe that you have kept Henny very busy. So let's get that done.
You have no idea.
That's good. All right. So just to quickly recap, do you need an app? What kind of functionality can an app be adding? So it can help you reduce data entry with seamless integrations. We're talking about like inventory. You know, if you're capturing stuff on the inventory app, you don't want to have to recapture in QuickBooks, so it can automate all of that. It can add functionality to existing process. It moves processes outside of QuickBooks. So what does that mean? Do you want your stock controller to have access to your accounting system? No. Do you want somebody, you know, an investor? So we have clients that have investors overseas that release payments. So we use an app, third-party app, that they can do that on. So sometimes you just want to segregate who processes things in your accounting system. And then, as I said, to supercharge QuickBooks. So for example, we did like manufacturing, inventory. So if you wanted to do landed cost, point of sale, all that kind of stuff, that's what you would get from your third-party app. Okay, how do you get help? So there's going to be links posted for you in the chat box. So you can chat to an expert, you can log into your account and click on help and contact us for instant chat support. You can also get telephone support from there. Sales support, please click on the link. They can also talk to you about migrations. You can just reach out to chat to a sales expert on that link. And then Zoom calls. If you have signed up for QuickBooks, but you are not using it, you are allowed a one-on-one Zoom call with an onboarding specialist. Please utilize this. They're amazing. And they can give you some really good advice. So those links are going to be posted for you. Okay, what are your next steps? I know that I've given you a lot of information. Let's break down the 6 things that you need to be doing. So number one is your decisions. Decide which subscription is going to work best for your company. Speak to your accountant or any of the local sales team because they'll have excellent advice on what's going to use. You can also upgrade or change your plan at any time. So if you pick Simple Start and your business grows, you can move to Essentials. You grow some more, you can move to Plus. You can also downgrade if you need to. So don't be worried if you pick the wrong subscription.
Sorry to interrupt, Lauren. Your slides aren't showing.
My slides are not showing?
No.
Oh, I've just been running through a huge amount. I apologize. Are they showing now?
Yes, thanks, Lauren.
Sorry, everyone. So let's just go back. So we spoke about the app, how to get help. So Henny and the team are going to just post those for you. And then just the next step. So these are the 6 steps. So glad that someone came on and told me because these are really important. Let's cover them again. Choose the right subscription. Plan, pick an end date. So plan when you're going to make the move. Pick an end date. Spend some time tidying up your data. Set targets for you and your team so that you can make sure that the targets are met before you make the transition. So it's also going to make things seamless for you. Check your data integrity. So you really want to do some tidying up if you're starting a new file. It is a great opportunity to make sure that the information you're migrating is correct. So make sure that just from an accounting perspective, things are accurate. Training. So this, for me, is key when it comes to making sure that your team is going to be confident in using the new software. So just make sure you're going to decide which training you're going to be using and just, make sure that that plan's in place. And then take a look at if you're going to be using any third-party apps, so speak to your accountant and your team. Find out from your team what pain points they are having in your current system. Can QuickBooks fix those pain points, or do you need to look at a third-party app in order to do that? And then number 6 is link with an accountant if you don't have one. I highly suggest finding one that uses QuickBooks Online. And just remember that your business, you have a 65% chance of thriving better than a company that is not linked with an advisor. So please take a moment and reach out to accountants, meet them, have a conversation, see what what services they offer, see if it's a good fit. But this is definitely the kind of partnership you want to be having. Historically, for me, accountants, we felt that companies felt like accountants were a grudge purchase. But for me, it's really changed in the last couple of years because we're not. We are your partners in your business. We want to see you succeed as much as you want to succeed. And we have the experience to help you do that. So please make sure that you are linking with an accountant. So as Henny said, you kept him already busy. So I think that we are going to jump on and have a chat about some questions. And then I'm going to ask you to please hang out with us. We're only going to be another 5, maybe a little bit more minutes. But there's a really great survey that I want you guys to just spend some time on at the end, because we want to be able to set up some new sessions for you. So we want to really hear from you about what you want to be covered. So please hang out with us and make sure that you give us some feedback. So I hope that was really helpful. I did say it was a lot to cover, so I am conscious if we've gone over time. Thank you for being patient with me. Henny, is there anything that you think it's relevant? I can see all the questions that came through. Thanks everyone for keeping them busy.
Oh, I can't keep up. So look, the biggest thing that was consistently coming up at the beginning was the Nedbank issue.
Okay, so look, guys, let's be honest. Let's be honest. So banking security in South Africa is insane. We know why. We've got lots of security issues in this country, so banks are updating their security all the time. Every time they update their security, the link is going to be affected. Intuit QuickBooks have the most incredible banking team now working around the clock, but it's not from QuickBooks side, it's from Nedbank side. So they are communicating with the bank, they are working on it, they know that there's an issue. What we always tell our clients right now is just unlink the bank. We use CSVs to import. It takes exactly a minute to do, and then there will be communication once the Nedbank link is up and running. So it is from the bank side. The bank side's working round the clock with QuickBooks to get things up and running. So every couple of months, there seems to be the same issue. It's across all accounting systems, so it's not only QuickBooks. So I understand the frustration, but at least there is a workaround. So please just be patient while that's being sorted out.
On that note, if you are currently banking with NetBank, you won't be able to connect. Well, it'll keep giving you an error. NetBank don't know how long it will take to fix the issue. But I just wanted to mention that there are two importing options that you can have for your bank statement. So option number one is preferable, and the file extension, if you have a look at your transaction history, this applies to all banks. If you can download your bank statement into what is called an OFX, I'll repeat that, it's an OFX. It's the best file format because it's pre-formatted and it's a universal format worldwide, so no editing is required. If you do not have the option for OFX on your bank, then you will have to do a CSV file. However, a CSV file will need to be edited because there is information in the CSV file that cannot be imported into QuickBooks. Long story short, put it into Excel. You need 3 columns, first column being date in either a month, day, year format or a day, month, year format, nothing else, separated by forward slashes, full stops or hyphens. Your second column will be the description and your third column will be the amount. And certain banks like Standard Bank do sometimes a double, a debit and a credit column instead of just a single negative and positive column. QuickBooks can handle that as well.
Great, thank you, Henny. Next question.
So a couple of people asked, I just happened to write it down. If your VAT number is not showing on your invoices, you will need to go and edit the settings in the VAT section of QuickBooks. So if you navigate on the left menu.
I'm very happy to show you. It is such a trick. It is such a trick because I literally had this with 2 clients yesterday. So it's a really good thing to know. Let me just log in again. Because under the company information, there's a place to put the VAT, but it's not from there. It's actually under the VAT section. Give me 1 second while I'm logging in. Sorry, I logged out because I thought we were done. Yes, and then it will automatically pull through to your invoices. You don't have to be doing anything. What I want you to be mindful of is if there's no VAT on the invoice, the VAT numbers won't show. So don't be worried about that. I'm just going to swap my share screen. So hang on just to show you the products. Give me a second.
While we're waiting for that.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Just I want to make sure. All right. So if you click that down your left-hand side, at the top, you have an edit VAT button, edit settings. This is where your VAT number has to be in order to show up on your invoices. So please make sure that you've done that. Great.
Okay.
Next.
While you're there, could you just show how to access the chat function for the Intuit Care team?
Click on your help. So you have your assistant.
So they've launched the assistant in South Africa.
Yes. So this is the chat. You know, you can pick certain things, you can type things. It'll take you to the community. If you're not getting help, you can then speak to, but the chat bot is amazing. And then you actually do get a live person. So this is where you would get your help, but you can also search articles, you know, how to customize an invoice, how to load the VAT number, excuse me, is a good example. So you would just click on the help button from within your QuickBooks.
Okay, a lot of people were also asking about multi-currency. So I just want to point out, okay, you show them first how to activate it, but it's also only on the Plus version of QBO.
Sorry, Essentials and Plus.
Essentials and Plus, apologies.
Yeah, but what's very, very important to know is that once you activate it, you can't turn it off. So just make sure. It does ask you a couple of times. You set your home currency. I love how QuickBooks runs multi-currency. It automatically updates the exchange rate every 4 to 5 minutes. So you are always up to date. So it's automatically, you can override it if you want to. So if you've booked a certain exchange rate at the bank for a payment, you can override it. So that would be your choice, but just make sure that it is something that you need before you turn it on.
Okay, multi-currency makes banking a lot easier if you have clients who are paying into a South African bank account and it's converted to rands. and you are invoicing that client in a different currency, whether it be dollars, pounds, is irrelevant. It automatically accounts for the profit and loss on exchange, because it knows what the exchange rates are at the date of the invoice as well as the date of the payment, which is a great feature. But unfortunately, from a multi-currency bank account, we cannot use the banking center to allocate directly to QuickBooks, to invoices, I beg your pardon, because it is looking primarily at the home currency. So if your home currency is Rand and you've got a dollar bank account, you'll just have to allocate that money to accounts receivable or accounts payable to your customer or supplier account, and then go and allocate the payment after through receive payment for customers or pay bills for suppliers.
Great. I think we've got time because I see people are dropping off. I know that we've all got busy days and I don't want to lose them for the poll. So let's do 2 more questions if you guys want to hang out with us. Henny, is there anything that you think is relevant?
Look, I unfortunately didn't get through all the questions. I just wanted to point out the help function. If you do have any processing issues that you don't know how to fix, that's why I did ask Lauren just to show you how to access the help, because you can hop on a chat with one of the very friendly people that know the product very well, and they will be able to assist you with your issue. But the only other question I wrote down was someone had a question with regards to the SIPC annual submission, which I didn't know how to answer.
What was the question?
I need more clarity on SIPC annual submission.
So you have a, sorry, that caught me off guard. I'm like QuickBooks. So there's an annual submission that you have to pay to keep your company registered. The information that you need is your turnover, and you pay like it's like 150 Rand, but every year you have to pay to keep your company registered. It's imperative to do. Okay, so Marlies is saying, please answer my question before you go. Just let me know what it was. Somebody else is also asking about payroll. There is no QuickBooks payroll available in South Africa, but there are 2, 3 really great payroll systems. We prefer PaySpace, that's our preference. There's also Simple Pay. So those would be the 2. If you want to look at cloud-based, they both integrate with QuickBooks, so that's really great.
Pause.
Yeah.
Marlies, hi. Under reports transaction list by customer, grouped by account, why does it not show amounts at the journals? My bookkeeper is struggling to having to go into each line.
I know what she's asking. Let's stop because we're not going to do training. We don't have time to do it. Marlies, I've posted my email address. Pop me a mail. Actually, get your accountant to contact me because there's a way to do it through the general ledger. So you can't get that report that you're looking for. So guys, you're asking that question. Speak to your accountant. If you're running a B&B, you can claim that on food. Chat to your accountant. This is why we say partner with them, because they're accounting professionals. They can definitely answer all these questions. Just people are asking me to confirm we use PaySpace payroll, but there is also Simple Pay. And you can get remittance for suppliers. These are all training things. So Google, I have put my email address. You'll get a copy of the recording, so it will also be on our initial page. So please, take a look. You can reach out if you need us. But there's also the sales experts. There's also the chat on QuickBooks. So I don't.
Otherwise, you can always join me for a 2-day training course.
Yes, exactly. Henny does an amazing training course. So if you are looking for it, just be in touch with us. It was a pleasure having you all here. Please stick around for the survey at the end. We'd love to hear from you. We want to be doing more of these end user presentations. We want to know what you want. Did you enjoy it? Can we do something different? What kind of topics do you want to cover? You guys have been amazing. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for the team in the background. Can't wait to see you all again and hope you have a great rest of your week.
Good luck. And just so that you know, because I'm seeing a lot of asking, training is on a digital platform. Thanks to COVID, we don't do much in terms of face-to-face that much anymore. So it is an online training course. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks so much, everyone. I posted my email address again because everyone's asking. And hope you have a great day further. Thanks, team.
They make a great flat white. Accountants like you keep them in the black. They know a lot about rock records. You know a lot about financial records. They know how oil flows, but when it comes to cash flows, that's what they rely on you for. We know how dedicated you are to your clients. Working late, answering hundreds of emails, make that thousands, staying on top of legislation, and the new legislation, switching constantly between different clients and situations, shifting deadlines, and years of continuous professional development. All right, let's get back to it. They rely on you, and you can rely on QuickBooks. Our powerful accounting and small business tools, systems, and reports help you grow your business and support your clients. We're dedicated to growing our accountant and advisor community around the world, consistently innovating to supply best-in-class products and services to nearly 8 million small businesses on QuickBooks in 160 countries across the globe. We're here to back you so you can focus on what's important, backing your clients. Yeah, even you, Marcel. Intuit QuickBooks, backing you.